I found my notebook.
Oh, good.
It was in the office. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living in the heart of Las Cruces. It's almost Christmas. Woo! I'm Sarah, and this is Doug and Kay. We're going to start you off with a couple of songs. I invite you to stand if you'd like. And yeah, we're going to sing.
Take a look at the person next to you. Say, I recognize the God in you. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. Take a look at the person next to you. Say, God loves me and I love you too. I feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. From every walk of life, every creed and color, in kinship we unite, in honor of the God in each other. Take a look at the person next to you. Say, Namaste, I bow to you. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love.
All right. We're still singing. I'm sorry. My music fell on the floor. Fortunately, it wasn't the song we were actually doing.
We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the love that we seek. We are the seeds we are sowing. We are the harvest we reap. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the love that we seek. We are the seeds we are sowing. We are the harvest we reap. Oh, I am that I am. I am that I am. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the love that we seek. We are the seeds we are sowing. We are the harvest we reap. Oh, I am that I am. I that I am. Oh, I am. That I am. I am. That I am. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the love that we see. We are the seeds we are sowing. We are the harvest we reap. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the love that we see. We are the seeds we are sowing. We are the harvest we reap. We are the harvest we reap. We are the harvest we reap.
Beautiful.
Good morning. I am Tina Bailey. Good morning. Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here, and I welcome you to the Center for Spiritual Living in the heart of Las Cruces, where our vision is a world that works for the good of all. Reverend Bonnie has asked me to fill in because she's not feeling so well, but she's watching us on Zoom, so we have to be good. And she thanks us for the flowers and the card that we sent her last week for her, what was it, her 12th anniversary or 10th? 10th anniversary here. So I want to welcome each one of you who are visiting for the first time, and we invite you to help yourself to a packet of information, and in it you'll find a gift certificate to the bookstore. And please fill out the front of the form with an email if you want to get on our email newsletter list, because we want you to read the newsletter. There's always something happening here, and we want you to participate in every way that you can. The second class in Lisa Giuliano's workshop series, Living Your Authentic Self, is today after the service. See Lisa for more information. Lisa, there she is in the back if you want to join in. Janice, who has been cleaning for us and does the treasure sales, is going out of town for 5 of her usual cleaning days. So we do have a call in to someone who has covered before, but he can't let us know until 4 days prior to our needing him. So, guess what? Just to cover, it says here, I'm supposed to stand up here until somebody raises their hand to volunteer. Oh. Do I see anybody? No. But if you decide you can do it, please call the office and let them know. And you guys are all going to want to put this on your calendar. For the 39th year, the center is celebrating, hosting, honoring the World Peace Meditation. It started 39 years ago on December 31st at 5 a.m. here, because it's 12 Greenwich Mean Time around the world. So we invite you to come. And another motivation besides just to come and meditate on peace for an hour is that we all go out to breakfast together. And it's a fun time, and you get to know some of us better. The 31st is a Wednesday? It's Tuesday? Tuesday. And it's 5 a.m. Yes. So looking into the new year, we have some wonderful speakers and events coming to the center. So you're going to want to pay attention to the newsletter and check the website every week so you know what's going on. Starting in January, Lori McComber will teach an introductory class to Buddhism. Brian Lotman will lead a Sunday celebration followed by an Awakening Higher States of Consciousness meditation. And Celia will bring her music and message on a Sunday. along with a sound healing experience after the service in February. And I've heard her. She's awesome. Armand and Angeline will be back with new music for a magical musical comedy concert at the end of March. So, see, this is the center for what's happening now. And again, as a practitioner, I want to remind you that we believe in the power of prayer. We know that prayer works, that Spirit is always working through us, and all the practitioners and ministers of the New Thought community, and there are 5, meet on Tuesdays, and we have a prayer meeting where we meet on all the prayer requests that come in. They're confidential. The forms are in the backs of the chairs in the sanctuary. You can fill it out if there's something going on in your life that you want to turn over to Spirit, want a little help with. Put it in the collection plate, and we'll take it to our prayer meeting. Also, we know how powerful individual prayer sessions are, so those of us in the room that are wearing these, there's Judy, Bob, Doug, Beth. So we can take you to a corner of the room and do a 3-minute treatment. So feel free if you just want to release something, want us to pray with you, we will do that. Also, I guess that was it. Sorry. And we like to know, we really do know that prayer works, but we like to receive gratitude cards too, to let you guys acknowledge Spirit working in your lives. And those forms are in the back of the chair too. So now is the time for song, silence, and prayer.
You are a work of art, a brilliant light for all to see, perfect in every part, heaven and earth in harmony. The beauty of your face reveals a life of grace. You are a work of art, a masterpiece. I am a work of art, a brilliant light for all to see, perfect in every part, heaven and earth in harmony. The beauty of my face reveals a life of grace. I am a work of art, a masterpiece. We are a work of art, a brilliant light for all to see, perfect in every part, heaven and earth in harmony. The beauty of our face reveals a life of grace. We are a work of art, a masterpiece. We are a work of art, a masterpiece.
Each one of us is an important part of the universe. Each one of us is Spirit expressing in our own unique, magnificent ways. And we know that each one of us is connected with one another. And as we come together this morning, we come from that perspective. And when we greet one another, we see the God within. We remember who we are and settle into the peaceful, wonderful words that we'll hear this morning. For in this room there is a lot of love and joy and laughter and spirit expressing in all magnificent and wonderful ways. And so it is. We have a special reading this morning. It's from an ancient philosopher, Rumi. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I will meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. Ideas, language, even the phrase each other doesn't make any sense. And from Ernest Holmes, in his For Something and Against Nothing, from the Sermon by the Sea that he gave as his last task in 1959 at Asilomar. Find me one person who is for something and against nothing, who is redeemed enough not to condemn others out of the burden of his soul, and I will find another Savior, another Jesus, and an exalted human being. Also, find me one person who no longer has any fear of the universe, or of God, or of man, or of anything else, and you will have brought to me someone in whose presence we may sit, and fear shall vanish as clouds before the sunlight. And so it is.
We're going to do the song Dona Nobis. Dona Nobis Pacem, grant us peace. If you know it, sing along.
Dona nobis pacem, pacem. Dona nobis pacem. Dona nobis pacem. Dona nobis pacem. Dona nobis pacem, dona nobis pacem, dona nobis pacem, pacem, dona nobis pacem. Dona nobis, nobis pacem. 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 Dona nobis pacem. Dona nobis pacem. Dona nobis pacem. Dona nobis nobis pacem, dona nobis pacem.
Thanks.
That was certainly beautiful. It's my pleasure to introduce our speaker for today, Peggy. She's a licensed practitioner of religious science and has been at the Lake Chapala Center for Spiritual Living since 2017. I believe it was 1992 that I first met you here.
Right.
I was one of her, somewhere here, but we were early teachers of her. The Women's Club, that's it. And her Chapala Center for Spiritual Living is located in Ajijic, Jalisco, Mexico. When in residence there, she helps manage the center, teaches classes in both English and Spanish. She serves as the team leader of the organizers team for the Convention of the Americas, a bilingual Science of Mind conference presented by the Chapala Center in partnership with CSL, with CSL's International School of Spanish Leadership, that's been held annually in Chapala since 2014. Peggy Shinn's presentations are always uplifting, interesting, and inspiring, and I think we'll have fun. She is about transforming lives, her own and others, through the spiritual principles of science of mind. Currently serving as a religious science practitioner at Lake Chapala CSL, Ajijic, Jalisco, Mexico, she has many years of experience as a teacher and practitioner in both the U.S. and abroad. Help me welcome Peggy Shinn.
I'm going to take my jacket off before it gets any warmer up here. You never know. Thank you for the song. Do you all know what the words to that song mean? I learned it in Girl Scouts, 70 years ago. And probably understood it better when I took Latin in high school. My father made me take that class. I thank him just about every day that I learned Latin, which is the basis of the English language and the Spanish language. Can you hear me out there? Okay, good, because I can't hear myself too well up here. And I think I appreciate the words of that song much more, even right now. Dona nobis pacem is give us peace. Give to us peace is more the exact translation of the Latin. So when we say the word over and over and over again in the song and have the melodious, round aspect of it, and that's the way I learned it in Scouts too. And I think others in the room did too, because I wasn't the only one singing along. So I hope if you didn't know the meaning of the words before, that you'll take them now in a different way into your heart when you hear it and sing it the next time. Maybe you guys will sing it again. You're having a bowl burning, right? Yeah, something like that. And I might let Tina and Doug know that I'm not involved with it, but they do have it's at 6 a.m. in the morning there, Mexico time. And I haven't gotten up to go to that one either, just like I haven't been to the one here in a long time either. But I'm happy to be back here, and thank you to my CSL family here. As Tina said, I started on my spiritual journey here with Science of Mind in the Center for Spiritual Living, which was then the First Church of Religious Science. And we met in the Women's Club over in Pioneer Park. And that's where I first walked in the doors and really, metaphorically, never left since then. And then we were here for the Mastering Life Center, and now the Center for Spiritual Livings. But it's all the same oneness. We're all here in the same oneness and the same oneness of spirit. So I noticed that the theme for today is actually called Sticking the Landing. Oops, is this thing moving or is it just my imagination? Closer to me. I'm not sure how far the camera goes either, but I kind of move around, so if you lose me off camera on Zoom, I apologize that I moved out of the picture. But at any rate, the theme of Sticking the Landing, and we translate the monthly themes for Centers for Spiritual Living into Spanish, and I'm part of a thing called the Spanish Language Task Force for Centers for Spiritual Living. That's not in my bio there, but one of the things that we have to do is we're challenged with the necessity of translating these themes and topics into something that makes sense to the Spanish-speaking world. Well, this was a really tough one, so that's the reason I remember it, which we did it a few months ago. I guess we do these far enough in advance, that we get it all out, get all the material out to everybody that needs to have it. But what I discovered at that time, and I don't know whether anybody told you last week, in the first week of the first weeks of this thing, but sticking the landing is a term from the gymnastics world. I didn't know that until we were trying to figure this out for the Spanish-speaking people. And it has something to do with sort of like getting into your stand to stand while you're still in midair, coming out of the tumble or off the bars or whatever, that you land on your feet as though you were standing upright in the middle of the air and you just come down in that position. I'm not quite sure why the people in the powers that be at Centers for Spiritual Living decided that that was a good metaphor for us, but I'm not going to talk to you about standing in midair or walking on water or any of those kinds of things. But I do want to talk to you a little bit about taking a stand, which is part of what Tina was talking to you about in the reading that she gave. The Rumi poem is something that's always comes to my mind, as does the same quote from Ernest Holmes from his Sermon by the Sea, the last talk that he gave at Asilomar in 1959, just a year or so before he died. I think he died in 1960. And so it's memorable in many respects, but it's memorable to me because of that quote in there about show me somebody who will stand for something and against nothing. And I think the way we interpret it is he's saying, I'll be happy to be in the darshan of that enlightened person, because it's not an easy task to come from standing for something and against nothing. So think about what it would take to not be against anything or anyone or any situation. It takes a bit of courage and willingness to stay with the principles that we espouse and to be at peace internally in the midst of whatever's going on, that dona nobis pacem. So we have a few beliefs that I'd like to kind of concur with you on before I get started here, because I think they're important to being able to conceptualize, what I want to talk with you about today. So I think we believe in the omniscience and omnipresence and the power that is the God within us that is omnipresent and in everything. And if we have that concept of our belief system, which I just call my BS. My belief system is my BS, my belief system, BS. So every one of us has our own BS, right? Whatever it may look like or sound like. But this is part of one of the integral parts of mine, is that God is all and all is God. And whatever is going on in my world, in my life, in what I observe in my surroundings, part of my job, my spiritual job on the planet here, is to see the God in it. If I don't get to see the God in it, I still have to have the faith that it's there, because that's the core of the belief, that it's all God and God is in all. And I know that I was in Mexico during the most recent election of the President of the United States, and I was able to witness a lot of upset and concern and apprehension and emotional tantrums, I guess, for lack of a better word. And I would imagine there are a few people in the audience here today that experienced some of that as well. And this is where I want to kind of focus us a little bit in respect to those of us who felt betrayed or abandoned or somehow or another ignored. We have an opportunity here. We have an opportunity to feel what that feels like. We have an opportunity to be compassionate, to feel what it feels like for others, what it has felt for others. And I want you to consider the possibility, and this is something that I learned from Reverend Sandy Scott, that every betrayal is a liberation. Now I'm going to say that over again because that's like, right? Through the, Every betrayal is a liberation. And in the moment, it doesn't feel that way. 5 minutes later, it doesn't feel that way. Maybe 5 months later, it doesn't feel that way. However, the sooner we get over the fact that it happened and that it is what it is, the easier it's going to be for us to grow at what I call a level of embetterment rather than embitterment. So if I can strive to accept what is, because again, part of my BS is I don't think we can change anything that we don't accept exists or that we don't accept the what is. You know, how many of you know who Byron Katie is? Yeah, a few of you, okay. Well, Byron Katie has this thing called the work. Of course, in my BS, I believe that if you don't do the work does you. But in her world, she teaches us that when we have to do is learn to love what is, to embrace what is. You know, I was taught in the 12-step program that acceptance is the key to all my problems today. However, what I've learned as I've come through these last 30 plus years that Tina mentioned we've been here, is that acceptance isn't quite really enough. That's just the start of it. Till I can learn to embrace it, to love it, to understand that it's for my good, whatever it is, it's all from, this is another element of my BS, it's all for my good and nobody's misbehaving. Now, I may not figure out right away what it was that was for my good, but I have to have that faith and belief that it's in there somewhere. You know, I'm fond of telling the story of the little girl that was, digging through the pile of dung in the stable. So she's looking for the pony at the bottom of the pile of shit because they're associated together, right? So that's what I would say is I'm always looking for the pony. That's, if you ever hear me say that, that's what I'm referring to, is that story. And it's always going to be there if I am in line with and aware of what's in it for me and what's in me for it. For the moment that people want to talk about being, taking advantage of the moment or whatever's going on, the opportunistic element to the world, is I try to hold myself to the standard of not looking for what's in the moment for me, but what's in me for the moment. And I feel like this moment that we're in now is an historic time. It's going to be an interesting time. And it's going to be a time of opportunities for us to grow, to learn, to improve, to approve of things we might have thought we weren't going to be ever having to look at or deal with. I don't know how many of you are followers or have ever heard of Jean Houston. I brought with me today a book by Jean Houston, written 20 years ago. This is how long ago she predicted where we are today. It's called Jump Time. And I'd like to share with you what her definition in the book is of jump time. So what is jump time? It's the changing of the guard on every level in which every given, in quotes, is quite literally up for grabs. It is the momentum behind the drama of the world, the breakdown and the breakthrough of every old way of being, knowing, relating, governing, and believing. It shakes the foundation of all and everything, and it allows for another order of reality to come into time. Jump time is a whole system transition, a condition of interactive change that affects every aspect of life as we have known it. It's the vision of change I'm describing is generally optimistic, and in her book, she is very optimistic about where she thinks things will be heading, but she also talks about, I have a third word that I add to her idea of breakdown, breakthrough. And the first one is break up. This applies to relationships, this applies to life in general, this applies to where I believe we are today, that first we have the break up. There's this separation from, this sense of split from, this polarization aspect that is the breakup. Then we go to the breakdown, because all of those foundations are shifting. All of that is moving. There's not a sense of not there-ness, nor is there a sense of not here yetness. And it's a kind of a limbo place. And then there's the breakthrough. So I'll continue reading what I was reading, some of my parenthetic phrases here. So she says it is focusing on the emergence of new patterns of possibility, never before available to the Earth's people as a whole. Now think about this having been written 20 years ago and where we are technologically speaking in the past 20 years. This optimism is paradoxically based on the recognition that virtually every known institution and way of being is currently in a state of deconstruction and breakdown. Given the scientific, technological, cross-cultural, and social tools at hand, and given, too, that humanity is searching as never before to cooperate in so many areas, it seems feasible to me that we may be ready to integrate inner and outer dimensions of life in ways that infuse new depth into psychological and spiritual growth, and new purpose and responsibility into social transformation. These are just a couple of paragraphs, but think of the words in here. The dimension of life that infuses new depth into psychological and spiritual growth and new purpose and responsibility into social transformation. That is a lot to think about. And she says, as I see it, our current stage of collective growth is being propelled by 5 forces. And those 5 forces in her world are the evolutionary pulse from Earth and the universe, the repatterning of human nature, the regenesis of society, the breakdown of the membrane, and the breakthrough of the depth. And you'll have to read the book to get into all of that. It's pretty heavy stuff. But it's also very, very inspiring to think about the possibilities. It's kind of like what I was talking about back in the pandemic days, as people were saying, oh gosh, these are difficult times. Uncertain times. When you have uncertainty, what you have, to my way of thinking and my belief, is you have a certainty of limitless possibilities, because we're no longer as attached to the past or attached to the outcome or attached to the future. Either way, we're in the moment much more, I believe, in those circumstances. So when every betrayal is a liberation, the uncertainty of having ended, having abandoned, having let go of, becomes a world of all new possibilities. We all know people who, got divorced or a spouse died and their whole world changed. Or they moved away, they went somewhere else. These are things that when you have something catatonic, or catastrophic, I mean to say, tectonic was what I wanted to say, that shifts your world. It shifts your world enough to leave holes, leave openings, create opportunities. And this is where I want us to go with this thinking about, oh, it's going to be difficult, oh, it's going to be time, we're going to have tough times or whatever. To get over that fear of the uncertainty and be willing to embrace what is at whatever level, and not to be flippant about it, but it is what it is. And so whatever what is going to be, it's going to be what it is. And the sooner that I accept it, the sooner I can make any difference about it. I can't be at the effect of something that I'm still at the effect of. Like the news, for instance. We could sit there and yell at the TV all day. And probably some of us have. I don't watch television myself. I'm hollering at NPR on the radio, But nonetheless, you know what I'm talking about, that we can put a lot of time and energy and a lot of lower frequency, let's call it, lower frequency energy that comes in with that whole process of anger, upset, sadness. I believe that sad and mad are kind of words that happen to rhyme in our language, but they basically kind of go hand in hand. People who are depressed, they're actually suppressing anger, and it's a different level of frequency. So the frequency level of depression or sadness is still a little bit higher than apathy. And the next higher one above the depression and sadness is anger. Because usually people, when they're a little bit angry, they got a little more energy behind it. They got a little more active demonstration of it. And we all know people that live their lives that way. I mean, is there anybody in the room that doesn't know someone in your life that is just like anger looking for a place to happen? It's the energy that they're living in. And that frequency is causing them, we move from that awfulizing to pathologizing. When we go through the process of awfulizing the situation, and that's where we're stuck in that energy, that lower frequency level, it shows up in our body in health or unhealth. Because the pathology comes in as we stay in that lower level frequency, and our whole system responds to that. So I subscribe to Dr. David Hawkins' Omega chart. So what I'm talking about here is his Omega chart of the frequency of the evolution of consciousness. Starts down there in that level of apathy and anger and depression and repression and suppression and that kind of thing. So it's got more to it than just the old chart you might hear about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. But it's about the evolution of consciousness. And the evolution of consciousness that he measures in his micro wattage machinery that people have is 500 for love. And then you get up to people like Jesus and Buddha, and their energy is more like close to 1,000. So if I can just get to love and above, I should be in pretty good shape. Not always easy, though, especially if you're going to stand for something and against nothing. We have to stay in that frequency of loving what we're doing, rather than upset or anger against what someone else is doing, saying, all the judgment. Just take all the judgment and just drop it into that category of being against. And in reality, what we're in when we're in judgment is we're in our shadow. We're operating from our shadow. Even if I'm in judgment on myself, if I'm in judgment on you, or say, I don't like this, I don't like that, I'm against this, I'm against that, it all boils down to what's in me that I don't want to see. Because if I see it, I be it. If I don't have the historical understanding of what this thing is, I can't give it a descriptor that makes it judged in my or my preference. It didn't meet my preference or something. If I don't have that frame of reference to begin with. So if it's all God and God is in all, I have to come from some frame of reference that is loving and compassionate, open at the top, as Ernest Holmes taught us to be, and allow. Allow, allow, allow. Now that sounds like, well, pretty permissive, huh? Just to be allowing. But it's a whole lot level of different frequency to just take a deep breath. Allow something to come into your awareness, to your understanding. Have the feeling, have whatever the feeling is that it evokes in you. But just know that the feeling is just the alert in your body to what's going on for you. And allow that feeling to move through and out. As Eckhart Tolle told us, we don't stay in the pain body. Nobody knows who Eckhart Tolle is. Huh? Okay. So we want to have that shift. And this is going to be an opportunity on the regular for shifting, I would predict, as does Jean Houston in her book from 20 years ago. We're just been moving through it, and now I think we're really at a place that she's totally describing in this text that I brought with me today. Excuse me. But that, if you're interested in Dr. Hawkins' work, the book that he wrote that is probably most well known, that it contains these charts of the frequencies, is called Power versus Force. And this is what I hope that we will find ourselves dwelling in. The power of God, the power of love, not the love of power. We're watching in total technicolor and full sound the love of power. And our balance as light workers, if you accept, this is your mission if you choose to accept it, kind of thing, right? Is to be the power of love. Here, now, always. As much as we can hold ourselves at that love and above frequency. So the whole aegis of this is just to be able to understand that one of the most important things we can do now, each one of us personally, because again, we go back to, my precept that you can't have an effect upon something that you're at the affect of. So it goes the reverse the same way, that if you're at the effect of something you can't have any effect upon, then you feel powerless, helpless, hopeless, hapless. And it's important to do what you can with what you have where you are. And for me, that starts right here, the 6 inches between my ears. That's the demilitarized zone, to feel the donna nobis pacem. To have that feeling of peace, that love of peace and the power of God. And let that consume me. Let that be what I'm standing for, rather than standing against all of this other. And I want to end my talk today with having a song played, if you got the word to do it. Bob? Yeah. Karen Drucker is a well-known singer in our New Thought world, has a song about this. And I invite you, while you listen to the song, to think about what you might stand for. What is the one thing in your world that you could stand for, and allow everything else that you might feel you want to stand against to drop away? So we're standing for love, we're standing on love, and we're standing by as we watch the love do the work. Thank you, Bob, for playing the song. And if you think of something that you want to stand for, feel free to stand up and sing along.
For years I've talked about how I wanted to change the world, but I always left it up for someone else to do. But then I finally realized I needed to take a stand, and that by changing my thinking I could change my life. That's how I could change the world. So let there be peace. I understand for peace. Let there be love. I understand for love. Let there be joy. I understand for joy. We are making a new world now. Let there be peace. I understand for peace. Let there be love. I understand for love. Let there be joy. I understand for joy. We are making a new world now. Let there be peace. I understand for peace. Let there be love. I understand for peace. Let there be love. I understand for understanding for joy. I understand for joy. We are making new world now. Let there be peace. I understand for peace. Let there be love. I understand for love. Let there be joy. I understand for joy. We are making a new world now. I understand. Making a new world now. Making a new world now.
Thank you, Peggy. Now I invite you to join me in prayer. What I know is that each one of us is this divine, holy, magnificent being. And Spirit expresses through each one of us magnificently. And it is for us to know that we are all connected by divine love. And the more that we can stand up for that, and the more that we see that in all of our interactions, and just know that Spirit's in charge. Take a deep breath and see the world with renewed eyes. See love expanding, joy and peace and forgiveness. For I know that all is unfolding in divine order and in the exact ways that it needs to. For remember, Spirit in the midst of us is mighty. Each one of us is a powerful being. And it is with such gratitude that I'm here this morning and that I see each one of you out here. And gratitude that the center is here and that we have such magnificent teachings. And so I release these words knowing that all is well in the kingdom. And so it is.
Okay, Tina, that was the music. So if you want to go ahead and do the offering, yeah, that was it.
Okay, now is the time that we have an opportunity to give back to the center that is so important in our lives. So would you guys please come forward? Thank you so much for your service to the center. You are a blessing to us. Everyone here this morning is a blessing. Have at it.
I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed.
And I know all this money is given for love and it goes out into the community and circulates. For this community believes in the power of tithing. And this month our tithe goes out to the community, to the El Caldito Soup Kitchen, where they provide meals for those in need. And we're delighted to do that. And we thank each person for being in the flow of the good, for knowing your prosperity, and for being of service. And so it is. All right. Remember, practitioners are here. If something came up during the talk today and you want a 3-minute treatment, just tap us on the shoulder and we'll take you to a private space. And we also have prayer request cards you can put in the offering plates in the back of the room. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to end with Let There Be Peace. If you'd like to stand, I invite you to.
Could we say thanks to Tina for playing all the roles today that she had? Yay.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as our center, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my start of now. To take each moment and